And hey there, hi there, ho there, and a gracious good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcasts as we bring you the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics and usually other and assorted other areas of topic matter to talk about today. We're very fortunate and tickled to have a full house in here today as Case, Jared, and Jeff join me, Paulie, for the broadcasts as we talk about some significant things that have gone on this week in the world of UofL sports and other things as well. Pleased to have the guys with me. Case has been busy all week long trying to figure out if Shelbyville was in fact named after Shelby Harper or not. I don't know how that research went for you, Case, but you can fill us in on that later. Jared is out of the bank today. I guess that means his drawer came up short 2 days in a row, and I said, take the day off. We need to get our finances back in order. As far as what Jeff is into, that's anybody's guess. He kind of goes into a cocoon until Saturday. Then we talk to him for an hour, and then he goes back into his stasis.
Yeah, it's been busy with work, same old.
It is.
Yeah.
The working guys here. I've been following a lot of stuff. But anyway, we do try to have a lot of fun with you. We do have a quiz today, as we've been doing traditionally during the summer months here. That'll take up most of the second half of the show, I would assume, today. And I'm going to say it right now, I've been way too easy on these guys lately. They've been getting way too high scores. I'm getting complaints from the administration and the faculty, and so...
So that would be Sonia.
Yes, Sonia, and also the Blue Jay that wakes me up each morning has been very bitter about his complaints on these things from what I'm seeing. So anyway, so we'll have some fun with all that today. The point of the show where I normally turn things over to Case, and he gives us a full and complete rundown on Twitter information and also commentary on scheduling if there is any. So, Case, take it over, Bubba.
Yeah, so just checked the schedule before we got started here, and wouldn't you know it, there's still nothing on it. So not much in the way of that other than in 2 weeks, the football home opener is scheduled against WKU. So we'll see about that. I assume they'll get to that game. They'll have that game, and then we'll see what happens after that, is my presumption. Talk a little bit more about what will be missing from that game, since we do know that fans will be there. There will be something else that is not. And then eventually, I guess they'll finalize some schedules for the fall Olympic sports. We heard some rumblings about timing issues of those games, but we'll still need to see what they elect to do for the actual days of the games, whether if they're going with conference-only schedules, if they're going to space those games out throughout the season, or would seem to be a logical thing to do. Probably just all trying to get that stuff wrapped up before they release information. As we move on to Twitter, I tweet is at best case scenario, BST case scenario. Not a lot on my timeline these days. Don't tweet that much. Not nearly as much as I used to. Polly tweets is at Cardinal Couple. Jeff as at Card Couple Radio and at Jeff McAdams, and Jared as at Mr. Anderson Jared. So that's us as you take us through the line. You can always follow along, like we say, on the right side of the site. There's a Twitter widget there with all the UofL Women's Athletics Twitter accounts. You can follow them directly out of there, or you can just watch along and see it there. I don't know, Jeff, is that a list that someone can click and follow that as a list?
Yeah.
Or
there it is. It's a list that I created on I think it's on the Card Couple Radio account. So yeah.
So interesting for you there to follow us, and during a normal season, during regular times, of course, we would have a lot of stories on scores and events and players and coaches and things like that. That's kind of a fluid situation, obviously, as we go on with it, but we will endeavor to get information to you, whether we're actually at events or not. certainly we'll try to find some way to cover them. Kind of breaking news that came out this morning about football, and I know we're a women's sports program and site, but we do have a lot of fans and readers and listeners out there that do enjoy football too. So I will kind of preface it, and then we'll take it around the table real quick, guys. They have two different ticket packages for season ticket holders to choose from. They have decided to limit anybody to just 4 tickets per package per game, which cut me basically in half on my season tickets, but that's fine. I've had others who wanted to back out due to all the concerns about crowds and such. Ticket package A includes 3 games: Western Kentucky, Florida State, and Syracuse. That's ticket package A. Those dates are September 12th, October 24th, and November the 20th. Package B is Miami, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest. Those dates being September 19th, Halloween, October 31st, and December the 5th. So they're trying to obviously make the experience there, I think, available to as many people as possible, because the attendance levels last we've heard is down to 18,000, possibly with more changes there. But so they're trying to give everybody a chance. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get the same seats I got, but anyway, at 9:30 on Tuesday morning, September the 1st, I will be able to access the link that they give me, and I will be able to choose my package. So it's all very official sounding. Plus that there will be no paper tickets this year. Everything will be done via your phone, or you download the Go Cards app and then present that with your attendees when you enter the actual Cardinal Stadium. And I've never done that, so I'll probably need coaching on how to do that, but we'll see how that works for me. But okay, guys, let's bat it around here. You got 2 different packages here. One that's got WKU, Florida State, and Syracuse. The other one with Miami, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest. Case, which one of these sounds the best?
The first one.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of them are very good. Louisville's home schedule is not a world beater this year, but in addition to those seeming like the better slate of games, the chances of getting that package and getting to see all the games that you want to are greater, I would think. My wife gets mad at me for being such a pessimist, but I still don't see us getting to the end of a football season. So if you're wanting to see a bunch of home football games, then getting to the ones that are earliest would seem like the better plan.
Yeah, I see your point on it. I'm also kind of under the impression that maybe let this first one against WKU go through. Let's see how much they have to learn from the initial attempt, and then maybe try the second one. Jared, out of these 2 packages, which one sounds best?
I'm in agreement with Case, the first one. You've got a nice in-state opponent with Western Kentucky that you get to go see. So, and then you've got Florida State, who's kind of been a rival for UofL among many sports. So to me, that has more meaning, especially because you're not looking at any other type of rivalry games. You don't have Cincinnati or UK on the schedule. You don't have Memphis on the schedule. So Florida State's going to be looking like your biggest rival.
I can't disagree with you there. Jeff, I know your football interest is not as maybe as large as ours is, but if you had to choose one of these 2, which way would you go?
Yeah, I'd probably go with WKU package. I always like the in-state rivalry games. It's also more likely to be a Louisville win, I think. So those are always just fun to see. Like you said, I'm not a big fan, so I don't have strong opinions one way or the other. The other thing I think you were mentioning before the show started was the WKU package is the one that has more early year games, which I don't like going out in the cold, so that would probably be a deciding factor for me too. So, there you go.
I should note that I looked back at the schedule. They did take into account people planning to just try to hit all the early games, and they've actually split the packages that they're every other home game.
Yeah.
So you would still be better off getting the earlier package, I would think. Because if things get canceled around Halloween, you're still going to get 2 games either way. And those games would be Western Kentucky and Florida State versus Miami and Virginia Tech. So I think the two at-risk games are probably Syracuse and Wake, which, whatever.
I will check it out. I'm sure that's probably going to be the more popular package A of the two, so that might even entice me to go for package B to perhaps get better seating. One thing I will point out about package A is we're going to, if the visiting teams bring them Big Red and Otto the Orange in Cardinal Stadium, guys. Think of that. Think of that. 2 of our favorite mascots in football or in any sport. Unfortunately, Miss Wolf is not coming to town this year.
I don't think we'd see mascots because I really don't believe we're going to see the Cardinal bird. I don't, especially when you don't have cheer or dance, and you probably won't have band. I really don't expect them to be. Oh, we'll go on and bring Louis on over, and you don't really want Louis interacting with fans either in terms of social distancing purposes.
Very good point, Jared. Very good point. So we will see how all that develops. All that, of course, being a fluid situation. So that's that. Let's get on into some other things. Somebody who has been a part of University of Louisville athletics for 21 years. You know, for him for some of his great PA calls of 3. Fill in your player's name there, or that's good for another. Cards first down. Sean Moth has announced his retirement as our public address announcer for football, men and women's basketball, and other sports. Kind of a surprise, kind of a shock to many of us. Let's kind of kick this around the table and let's just talk about it, Jeff. What about Sean deciding to step aside and only limit himself to calling UofL baseball games now on the radio?
Yeah, and I suspect there's some pragmatism here. You know, the financial situation as a result of COVID-19 in the athletic department is having some impact. He's been on an extended furlough. You know, he needs to kind of free himself up to probably find some other gainful employment. Doesn't look like UofL PA announcing is gonna be that for him for the near future. Unfortunately, I like Sean. I've had the opportunity to meet him a few times and talk with him, and he's just a fun guy to be around. You can see it when he's on stage doing MC duty for various events, and he's just a great guy, and he's been a wonderful asset to this university. And man, we're gonna miss him. I mean, I will also say, I am not a big baseball fan. Right? I think I've said that. I don't like to watch baseball on TV, let alone listen to it on the radio. But I will occasionally tune into Sean Moth on the radio for UofL baseball because he makes it interesting. So that's impressive to me to be able to do that. And I want to wish him well. I want to see him do well and find a great opportunity, and I'll wish him well in that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be weird not hearing his voice making those calls and keeping the fans in the stands up in the action. I really think it will. Jared, your thoughts on him?
It's been enjoyable having Sean with the PA duties. We saw him football, men and women's basketball, as Jeff mentioned. He radio called baseball, which he'll still do. We heard Sean at some of the volleyball matches as well. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a difficult decision that I believe was probably in discussion for a while between Sean and athletics with the financial situation, as well as UofL needing to free up space in terms of money right now. So they've eliminated several positions, as well as eliminated employees who may have been longer tenured and higher salary. I don't want to say that's part of the reasoning here because I don't want to start any rumors that we can't prove are true. But sometimes it does make you suspect that maybe there's a little bit that hasn't gotten released yet either.
I had the chance to actually listen to him talk a little bit about this on the radio yesterday, just happened to stumble across it. And he was saying, without trying to be demeaning or anything, that maybe his motivation to do public address announcing this season wasn't as high as it had been in past years. I can certainly understand that with a projected lot smaller fan base at events and also him being laid off for a while. Let's not forget that Sean was also part of the athletic creative services and marketing division of U of L, where he was the senior manager of broadcast and public address. So, Case, it's going to be weird not hearing Sean, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And I think just to echo what a couple of people have said about the financial situation, I think that U of L's announcement was kind of not so opaque about it in saying that they are looking for a new PA, and that person will not be filling Sean Mott's full-time role.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll be looking for an independent contractor that they can sign a contract with to do PA for football, and that may not necessarily be the same person for volleyball or basketball. And then they don't have to provide that person benefits. They're not asking them to do all of the other MC duties that Sean Moth was a part of, the podcast that they recently started. There's a lot of things that he was doing that put him on the payroll, and I think that they're just looking to kind of shed some of that load, like Jared talked about. And so I think them putting that in, I think they put that in quite plain terms, frankly. But it is going to be very, very strange. He's been here since 1999. Traveled to a new football stadium, traveled to a new basketball arena, traveled from and back to a volleyball arena. I think it's definitely going to be different. And I wrote about it today. It's going to be weird for fans who are returning to games, who were seeking some sense of normalcy, that one of the biggest mainstays of U of L athletics and U of L home athletic environments is going to not be there when we come back.
Absolutely. So it's just going to be weird not hearing Sean make his announcement at football games or basketball games before the contests start. U of L has announced that they are doing a nationwide search for a new PA announcer. But Jared, we, in Case to an extent as well, and even you, Jeff, we have gone to games on the women's sports side where Sean didn't have the call. I can just think of the top of my head: field hockey, lacrosse, women's soccer, those events where there have been different PA announcers up there.
And even volleyball, to some degree. For volleyball, he was only there on occasion. He wasn't constantly. Mostly, a lot of these happen because, there are conflicts in scheduling, right? He can't be in two places at once. He couldn't be in two places at once. So that's, understandable and expected. So.
Does Louisville look in-house here, guys? What's the thoughts on this? I mean, we all know Jason Puckett, who's done some calls for the Cardinals to field hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's also done the lacrosse, and I have to apologize. I can't think of the guy who calls women's soccer right now.
You're talking about Delbert?
Delbert, yeah.
Yeah, Delbert Alt. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Thanks for jogging the senile memory, Jared. I appreciate that. Delbert does a very adequate job. He's good. He covers stuff. Do the Cards look in-house? I don't know, fellas. What do you think?
I don't want to shortchange anybody that's currently on staff, but I don't think that anyone on staff is prepared to fill that role. And if they were, U of L wouldn't have announced that they were looking for an exterior or an external candidate. And additionally, I think I'm not sure if any of those guys are on staff at U of L, but I think that if they are, then they will not be in the running just because of U of L's commitment to to making this person independent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Jason
Go ahead,
has a
Jeff.
day job of some sort. That's why he's sometimes not there. But I don't know about Delbert. But yeah, I suspect I suspect they are not on staff. So potentially in that respect, but yeah, I don't know. Certainly, I think they get a consideration for it, and having been involved with UofL athletics, I think that may be something that works in their favor in that discussion. But yeah, I I hope they consider lots of different people for it. We got a lot of radio people around here that would probably do a pretty good job with it as well. So that would be interesting to see.
Mike Rutherford for Louisville, PA.
Yeah.
I see Howie Lindsay. Let's bring Howie back.
I think Howie would do a really good job with it. Yeah.
Howie's selling real estate now, and obviously we'd love to see him get back into some type
Yeah.
of. I said, so yeah, look at Howie Vince, or look at Mike Rutherford, or I guess you could really go off the deep end here and say, let's bring in Terry Miners, huh? Oh my God!
Look at somebody else from Colorado. I mean, they turned out Sean Moss. So
Yeah.
they got something going over there.
As long as it isn't that guy that does stuff for UK. Oh my God. What a screechy voice. But just to share quickly on one of my favorite Sean Moss stories, and then a story that he has actually told other people as well. It goes back several years ago when he was doing a radio call of Louisville baseball. And Louisville was playing, I think back then it was in the Big East tournament. And so this happened to also fall on Preakness Day in May. And Sean Moth was talking about the Cards making a comeback against Seton Hall, and he proudly exclaims over the radio, Uncle Mo is in the Cardinal dugout now. Well, guys, on that very same day, Uncle Mo, a very established thoroughbred horse, was running in the Preakness. And I was sitting in the parking lot at Churchill Downs doing some handicapping before I went in to bet the race. And I damn near spilled my beer. Why was Uncle Mo, who was supposed to be running in the Preakness as the favorite in the Cardinal dugout? What was Dan McDonald up to? Was Uncle Mo going to try and steal second base?
That's
I
fantastic.
wouldn't want to be that shortstop to put the tag on him. Or are they going to put Uncle Mo in the outfield to track down fly balls? Will he have a jockey on board? And first of all, if you're going to put Uncle Mo up to bat, what's he going to do? Hold it in his teeth? And God forbid if he poops on the base pass. So, and I had to text Sean right after I heard him say that and proclaim that. I'm out in the parking lot doing that. And he texts me back. He goes, I didn't even think of that. Thanks so much. This will be a story I'll tell forever. So, and he did. He'd mentioned it several times. And every time I saw him, I would just look at him and go,
Well, and his call of Corey Ray stealing home. I mean,
That's best moment ever.
oh my goodness, that was amazing. I mean, it's a great, an amazing sports moment, but his call of it was iconic. So, yeah.
a lot of great memories there. And certainly, if anybody misses Sean, we'll be able to catch him on UofL baseball broadcasts. And we'll see if maybe the fire kind of reassembles, maybe when things get back to normal and there are more things available for fans to attend and stuff. Maybe he'll look at it. But an independent contractor coming in. So there we go. Things are happening on that.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
Delbert's independent right now, so they may expand his role some. But as you mentioned, they're looking at that outside candidate. So who knows?
Yeah.
We could get you up there, Paulie.
Yeah, it would have to be a very minor sport, and there would have to be.
I think there are a lot of people that could be considered for this. How about Daryl? Right? She's been on
Yeah.
our show. She does really well. She has a great voice. She has a great presentation. She knows sports very well. Let's see her out
Daryl
there.
had her own radio
her-
broadcast too back at one time too.
I think her game
I'm
day
for
duties might be a bit occupied already.
Maybe.
a bit full.
Yeah,
with
just
her-
throwing
with
out
her real job.
ideas. We can figure it out.
Yeah, and some other names I heard kicked around was Jody Demlin. I don't know as to whether how well fit that would be or not, but he's certainly heard on a lot of different venues around this town. So Demlin's name was kind of thrown into the mix. Also heard the Clay Aikens. Is that the correct name of the guy who calls the Louisville soccer matches, guys?
I would think not. Surely not. Clay Aiken? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I wasn't
The
Clay Ables
the
or Aiken or whatever.
American Idol guy?
No, the guy who calls Louisville soccer.
I have no idea who that is.
Louisville FC soccer down there. What's his name? Clay Ables or Clay something or who am I
Louisville
thinking
City
of?
FC.
Louisville City FC. Who is it? It's not Jeff Greer. It's the other guy. I don't know. Case, you should know all this. You built the
I'm
damn
looking
stadium.
it up right now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, Nick Curran. Do you take Nick off of the basketball broadcast and put him in the PA booth?
He would probably
Certainly something
do
that
a
Nick
fine
would
job.
be good at, I would think.
Yeah.
Be quite good at it, I think. So yeah, a lot of options out there as Case searches here for.
Is it Clay Ables?
Clay Ables, okay. Is it Clay Ables? I don't know. I've only listened to a couple of soccer matches, but anyway, potentials, possibilities. We'll see. We'll see how it all spins down. Right, but then, just to kind of close out the Sean Mock part of the show here, certainly very, very much thankful and appreciative of all the wonderful calls, hard work, and way to keep Cardinal fans informed, fascinated, and thrilled with what he's done at that public address announcer booth.
And normalizing
Very
wearing
much so.
shorts even in cold weather.
Yeah, not afraid of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
30 degrees, no problem. I've got my knee-high shorts on, guys. Here we go.
I appreciate you for that,
Love them for
Sean,
it.
if nothing else.
Yeah, because I'm kind of there with it. All right, WNBA obviously in the headlines quite a bit this week with the joining their NBA brothers and actually walking. Now, I'm getting some weird feedback, Jeff. You getting that?
Sounds like a smoke alarm.
I'm hearing a beep.
There is in the hallway at my place. I think the smoke alarm battery is dead.
Oh, okay. All right,
So
cool.
let me see if I'm gonna mute myself and step away for a moment. See if I can't take care of that for them.
We're going to leave Jared to I hope there's not a fire going on. But yeah, the WNBA decided to actually not play in a couple of contests postponed because of the Jacob Blake shooting, joining their NBA compatriots and also other sports as well, baseball, some other sports, taking a couple of regularly scheduled games off in protest of what happened to Jacob Blake for the WNBA. It was a very, very kind of dramatic and touching situation when the Washington Mystics case went out there with the shirts on and the bullet holes in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the WNBA has been a leader on the protesting front. The league is very open to what their players want to do. They have a lot more freedom, and they often coordinate between teams. Definitely, entire teams usually put things together. You don't see one player trying to make. I'm not saying they're making it about themselves. You don't see one player having to stand on their own. They're very, very often supported by their teammates and often by other teams throughout the league. I think because of that, it was very easy for WNBA players to make the decision to join with the tough decision that was made by the Milwaukee Bucks. And ultimately everyone else playing that day and the following day in the NBA respecting the Bucks' decision to strike along with them and affect change. There was some bad faith arguments made against the decisions by NBA players and athletes throughout that what are you doing? What is the concrete solution that you're coming with. And, they came out and they presented their plan after striking for a couple of days. They did announce they're returning to their playoffs today. WNBA returned last night. The MLB games were weird because they weren't really struck. They just kind of happened the next day as a doubleheader. I mean, I understand the sentiment, but those were kind of weird. And they keep happening, like staggered. I keep noticing that games just don't happen while trying to keep up with fantasy baseball teams. But they're not getting quite as much publicity, much like MLS canceled, I think, 5 games on that first night, and hardly anyone talked about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, the WNBA coming together, making that point, supporting that movement has to be very tough for them. They often get a lot of flack, as women's sports do unnecessarily, get a lot of flack. And for them to take away some prime time opportunities that they were having, especially if other sports were not going to be happening, I think it took a lot for them to make that decision, and I respect them for it greatly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeff, this is another case of a black person getting shot. This guy taking 7 shots in his back and still surviving, although paralyzed from the waist down. Your thoughts and reactions on what happened and what the professional sports did after it happened?
Yeah, obviously I support these teams and these players who are stepping out and saying this is important. It every time this happens, and how awful that eh, how awful that, like, that's a phrase I can use with respect to this. To say that, hang on a second, I'm checking on stream status here. My apologies. Okay, I think maybe we're okay. I'm not sure. Anyway, how awful that we have, that we can talk about this happening so often, right? And every time that it happens, it's becomes more raw. It becomes more of emotional, and I totally understand that. I get it, and it it yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how we accomplish anything to actually fix this. I know there has to be some people that stand up and say this is not how this is going to be, and there have to be substantive changes. There have to be changes to the law, to be able to have everyone in our community be safe and secure. And I don't know how we get there without people standing up and saying, no, we're not going to accept this. This is not okay. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what the end game is. I don't know what the next steps are at this point, but hopefully we'll see more in the future to results. And I'm finding it hard to find words on this.
Jared, first of all, hopefully your condo isn't burning down while you're on the air with us. And second of all, your thoughts and impressions on this, Jared. You've been active on Twitter and Facebook about this. Kind of give us the lay of the land here.
Yeah, first, that smoke detector, I had to trace it down to the basement. It's the 7-year-old battery based off of what they wrote on there. So sorry about that. But looking at everything that's going on, it's almost daily we see a new occurrence happen. So we're going the wrong direction here, which is weird. And the way that we're really seeing, like, the country split apart, and even as teams stand up, whether at the collegiate level or the professional level, we saw it a lot as Jeff mentioned, with the WNBA, and people kind of gave them some slack for it. We saw it happen with some of the other professional sports, the NHL, the MLB, the NBA, and people were starting to bash them. And then for UofL purposes, so far, we've seen the football team make a post, and it was not received well by certain people on social media. I think we're going to see a lot of our other teams, as well as our women's sports, are going to make some posts here in the future too, and they're going to see some negative backlash. But maybe those are the people that we really don't want to have as on board with our fan base. I'm thinking it might be the best route to go, because if you're saying that the only purpose of these student athletes is for our entertainment and enjoyment, then there's something wrong, because that's not what it's all about. First and foremost, they are students. Then they are athletes as well, but they are humans. They have a right to their individuality, as well as to have their voices heard. And just because you don't agree with something that they're standing up for doesn't give you a right to bash them and call them names.
I would like to call out one thing, shout out one thing, and give people something to go look at. I've mentioned in the past, Aiko Jones on the volleyball team is puts together YouTube videos of her own, usually lifestyle blogs, things that she's doing on a day-to-day basis, and usually entertaining, her hanging out with her friends, doing various activities with teammates and such. And she did one, she put one together, I guess she published it last week. She's titling it Voices. And it's her in conjunction with a number of athletes of color, several UofL athletes, but some across the country, um, recounting some of their experiences and some of what they've dealt with. Some of these athletes are international, several from Jamaica, which of course is where Aiko is from, several that are American, born and raised. So athletes of color that of various backgrounds, but of color, and have sharing of their experiences, including some experiences with law enforcement that have been negative for no good reason. And so it's powerful. It's about a half hour long. It's called Voices. It's on Aiko's channel. You can search on YouTube for Aiko Jones, Aiko Jones, and you find her pretty easily. And it's powerful. I would encourage people to go watch it. It's a great video.
And I certainly have to agree, Jeff, because I was about to bring that very thing up before you jumped into it, but I'm glad that you did.
Okay.
You probably did a much better job of explaining it than I would have, but I did watch that, and I was moved. I really was, very much so.
I think it's important for people to remember, or to know, if you don't know, that a lot of people think that professional athletes or other famous figures in the Black community are shielded by their fame or shielded by their jerseys or what have you. And that's not the case. When they take them off, they are to people who are racist, and to law enforcement, they are just another Black person. It was very near to Milwaukee, two players on the Milwaukee Bucks team, having multiple players who have had negative run-ins with law enforcement. One player who had been tased for illegally parking in an empty parking lot in two parking spots. Another player who had his leg broken in a run-in with law enforcement. Donovan Mitchell recounted an experience that he had earlier this year while he was in college with Louisville law enforcement. Brandon Marshall had the police called on him, former NFL player for many years, very famous wide receiver, had the police called on him earlier this week while trying to move into his new condominium because it was implied that he could not possibly live there. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible. Any number of synonyms that you'd like to put into that people are treated differently because of the color of their skin in the year 2020, when it's just insane. The amount of time that has gone by that we have not been able to figure out how to stop treating people differently because they are different from you, us, collective you, whatever. Just people are people. Let's just treat them like people. It shouldn't be this challenging, honestly.
It's a very good point, Case. And also, the dialogue definitely has to continue. Change has to occur. There are certain segments of our society that would disagree with that, but let's face it, we're all human beings. Do we not all deserve the same rights and privileges as others? I think we do. And also, as kind of a sidebar here, I have been in contact with a prominent former U of L women's athlete who is also of color, and we have been under some negotiations about her down the road possibly joining our Saturday morning broadcast. So I'm excited about that. We'll see if it happens. There's some details to be worked out, but certainly that could add another voice to our show, guys. So anyway, I hope it happens. We'll see. I'm not going to divulge a name yet, but y'all pretty smart. You can probably figure out who to do it. All right. Well, we talked about sports. We've talked about football season. We've talked about the WNBA last night. Maisha took to the court. She looked great in the first half. She had what the announcers said a foot injury in warm-ups. But what happened, Case? The Mystics still lost.
The wheels fell off in the second half.
Yeah.
Or the Mercury decided to show up. I don't know. I don't know what happened. The Mystics led by 8 at the break, and then they lost by 22. So.
And I fell asleep on it in halftime. I went to bed thinking, that's good. Maisha and the girls have got to win here. Boy.
Yeah, you must have jinxed it because
Diana Taurasi probably said, "Oh, Paul's gone to bed now. Let's go."
Dumped by 15 in both quarters.
So the woes still continue for them. At least Emma Meiserman was back, and I love to watch her play.
She's such a fun to watch, player. Isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And she gets these looks on her face sometimes like, "You did what? You called that on who?"
Yeah.
She just kind of shakes her head like, I'm from Holland. I don't understand this. Explain it to me like, I was from Holland.
From Holland? Well, Netherlands. Or I thought she was Belgian.
Maybe she is Belgian. Maybe I'm wrong on it. She could be Belgian. I was thinking she was Holland, right. But that's in my senility. I get confused on things like that. But today, big match today at noon, fellas, as we get 3 of our former U of L greats from the women's basketball venue taking part in the games. As the Aces with Angel McCaughtry will take on the New York Liberty with Kylie and Jazz, who looked pretty good last time out, guys. It looks like they're starting to get some things together, but you're talking about the Asia and also the Angel show for the Aces. I don't know, Case, how many points would you need to take the Liberty in this game?
A good number.
I'll set the bar 20. If I gave you the Liberty in 20, you taking that bet?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think they lose by 20. They haven't.
I wouldn't take it.
I mean,
I wouldn't take it. Jared, 20 points in the Liberty. You going? You got this?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, so I've got 2 no's, 1 yes. I'm going to go with Case. I think that the Liberty are looking a lot better if the threes are there. If Amanda Zowie B are hitting them, if Jazz is being her usual brilliant self, if things are happening for him, if Alicia Clareton can get a pretty good game together at point guard for him, I think they beat that 20-point spread, guys. I think they did. So what we'll do is we'll put a pizza bet on it. Okay. This is what we'll do. 20-point spread. If the Liberty cover, Jared, you have to buy everybody a pizza. Have it delivered to us.
That's broke bankers.
Yeah, this is a guy who's got a financial institution access. Can't afford it. Okay. Maybe we'll have Case construct a pizza and send us the blueprints on how to make one at home. How about that? Jeff, you can just IT one over to us.
Yeah.
3D virtual one. All right. So we'll see. Can they cover the 20 or not? We'll see. Duke made an announcement earlier in the week, fellas. They joined Syracuse, and they said, guess what? We're not going to allow you in the seats. Thoughts on that issue? Jeff?
I suspect we're going to see some more schools do this. It's the beginning. A lot of schools are figuring it out. I'm not terribly surprised. Duke is financially in pretty good shape, so they need it less than other schools, maybe. So maybe they feel a little more comfortable being able to make that decision, a little less pressure on it. So it's not terribly surprising to me. Syracuse is, yeah, I don't know. I never know what to make of Syracuse. So, who knows there?
Yeah. Consider this: Duke has a very, very worldly renowned and prominent medical school also on campus. The Duke Medical School, of course, is greatly well known. Maybe they were part of that decision making that said no fans in the stands there.
It's possible.
I don't know, Jared, it's going to sound weird not to have fans for football, but NFL teams are going that way, and now Duke's done it. What do you think?
It's the safest option right now. You don't have to risk somebody bringing it in and it getting spread, and you also don't have to deal with the trouble of who's going to be allowed at games and who gets turned down, and then you've got a lot of hurt feelings. I think they should maybe alter that a little bit. At least the parents or family members of the student athletes deserve to at least watch their child play. But outside of that, if you don't go any fans, so, I mean, you've got TV, and when you're in a Power 5 conference and you're a good school like Duke, you don't, well, not football related, but some of the other sports, you don't really have to worry about people with fans when you have such a nice TV deal going on.
Yay or nay, Coast fan, the stands on this case. Would you, if you were the president of a ACC university, what would your ruling be? Fans or no?
I think that for the non-revenue sports, I don't think it's likely that you're putting fans in the stands, just because of the additional length that you'll have to go to in order to provide a safe environment. You're talking about additional people, making sure people are maintaining their distances, employing people that are doing checks at the entries, making sure that whatever protocols you have in place are being upheld. And I don't know that the fiscal cost is worth it for the sports that aren't. I mean, what you're doing, what effectively probably balanced at zero by having fans, even though they pay to get in. You're doing all of that additional cost that maybe you're coming down. And if only students are showing up because other people don't want to be there, those students get in free anyway. So then you're taking even more of a hit. It just doesn't make sense to me financially. I mean, putting fans in the stands in football is goofy, in my opinion, but they're going to do it so far. And they'll see how it goes.
Yes, indeed. A bold experiment by both Duke and Syracuse. I've also even heard that the Big Ten has kind of been debating whether to bring back their previously canceled events by November. So we'll see. Everything fluid, as we like to say right now in the world of sports. All right, fellas, I think, Jeff, you had a little brief bit of volleyball news for us here, and then we'll move on into our quiz for the day. So bring it to me.
Yeah, we had there was a preseason All-American team announced for high school volleyball. So this is preseason for 2020-2021 season. And it was it included one player that has verbally committed to coming to UofL. Elena Scott, I believe is her name. I was not that familiar with her before this. She's a 5'8" setter out of Illinois, I believe it was, and I don't have the thing in front of me. Yeah, so assuming everybody stays after this season, if it happens, we're going to have 4 setters on the roster, so that's going to be interesting. But you know, some positive things can come out of this. I think we've got to have some good competition for the position. I think most likely that position will go to either or both of Tori Dilfer and Rachel DeMarcus, transfer coming in. But you know, hey, you got another 5'8" setter that can go in there and she's apparently very talented. We'll see. At the college level, it's a little difficult to play setter at 5'8". You need a little more height for that position usually in college, but we'll see how I can do with it. So, but it's good news.
It's all, you never waste good, and if you can get good, gather it. That's what I say, you know. It's better to have 4 instead of none. So, good luck to her, and we will now kind of segue on into our quiz today. The guys have probably been anxiously waiting to hear the subject matter of today's quiz. I've gone back to an old favorite, guys. We're going to do a mascot quiz. That's right, going
Alrighty.
back to the
A
mascots.
mascot quiz that is decidedly difficult.
Okay, we'll see.
Yes, indeed. Some of these will be ACC oriented. Some of these questions will not be. If you're playing or listening for the first time, you get 10 points for each correct answer. At the end of the 10 questions, there is a bonus question. You can choose to take it or not. If you get it right, you get 20 additional points. If you miss it, you lose 20 points off your total. We have our defending co-champions back. We got it all ready to go. So, gentlemen, the mascot quiz. We'll start it out with Case, and then go to Jared, and then to Jeff in our order of answering. I'll tell you when we switch it around. Okay, guys? Question number 1. Which mascot wears a tape headband with an inspirational message for each game? Is it the Notre Dame Leprechaun? Is it the Duke Blue Devil? Is it Sebastian the Ibis? Or is it Mr. Wolf? This mascot wears a tape headband, Case, with an
Inspirational is a interesting choice of word, but it's the Blue Devil.
Okay, you're thinking it's the Blue Devil then. Okay. Jared, Leprechaun, Blue Devil, Sebastian the Ibis, or Mr. Wolf?
I was laughing at Case's comment because I was thinking the
It is
same
kinda
thing
funny,
there
yeah.
about inspirational, but I'm in agreement. It is the Duke Blue Devil.
Jeff, are these guys all right?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out whether it was Notre Dame or Duke, but yeah, I think it's Duke.
Loserville in particular comes to mind as not very inspirational.
This is from a Duke article, and it is the Duke Blue Devil. They happen to call it an inspirational message. Certainly, okay, we can disagree with what Duke seems to think.
Probably written GTHC on there and calls that an inspirational message.
And after all, he is a devil. Let's not forget that. All right, the boys got the first one right. Let's move on to question number 2. And that question is, this mascot rides a motorcycle onto the football field. Are you kidding me? Is it Buzz the Yellow Jacket, Otto the Orange, the Demon Deacon, or Baldwin the Eagle? Case, which one of these guys rides a motorcycle?
Did you say the Demon Deacon?
I said yes.
Okay, it's that one. I zoned out for like the first answer and only heard the last 3, and I was like, wait a second. But yeah.
So, Jared, do you need me to go over them again?
Oh no, it's the Wake Forest Demon Deacon, because occasionally he has a little slip up and falls off the motorcycle.
Jeff, they're just laying all this out on the sidewalk for you to
Yeah.
come right by and pick up. Oh, you agree with the boys?
Oh yeah, and it anyway. It is Wake Forest. It is one of the most iconic entrances in football for sure.
Yeah, I was always wondering if they ever played Georgia Tech and whether the Rambling Wreck would run into the motorcycle and then delay a game while we have casuals. All right, the guys are perfect after 2. Hope you are at home too. Question number 3 is this. Which school does not have a bird as a mascot? I'm going to give you 4 schools. You tell me which one of these does not have a bird as a mascot. Is it A, Miami, B, Virginia Tech, C, Boston College, or D, North Carolina? Case, which one of these 4 schools does not have a bird?
UNC.
He's going D, UNC. Jared, your thoughts?
The North Carolina Tar Heel.
Okay. Jeff, once again, they're just cleaning the sidewalk up for you here. You got that one?
Yep. North Carolina.
And that is correct. It is Ramses, the actual ram for the Tar Heels of North Carolina. That is correct. They don't have no birdie.
I still don't know what an ibis is, but I know it's a bird.
It's like a crane or like a heron. It's like in that family.
But if you look at their mascot, it looks like a duck.
It looks like a duck.
Yeah.
It does not look like an ibis. That is correct. Their picture does, but the physical mascot does not.
Right.
They got the long. They have the long curved bill.
Yep.
It looks like Donald Duck on acid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different coloring. Yeah.
That's why he's
So
on acid. Maybe we're on acid looking at Donald Duck and they see Sebastian Giannis.
Now that would be the Clemson Tiger.
yeah,
The Clemson Tiger's on acid looking at
and
Donald
who
Duck.
knows
and
what he
seeing
sees when he
Sebastian
sees Sebastian out there.
Donald Duck's the Oregon mascot.
Yes, he is,
Giannis.
sir. All right, the guys are perfect after 3, so obviously my threats of a tough quiz hasn't phased them one bit. We'll switch the order up this time. Jared, you'll start us out in answering on question number 4. Which school has Dibs as a mascot? Which school has Dibs as a mascot? Is it A, Hofstra, B, DePaul, C, UCLA, or D, Central Florida? Where is Dibs?
This was a setup. The first 3 were easy on purpose.
Yeah.
Lull us into a false sense of security.
I know. Now I'm trying to think because when you first said it, I'm thinking, oh, did like a school called Dibs on a certain mascot? But then I
Yeah.
realized,
Yeah, I know,
oh,
right?
the name is Dibs, and now I'm like, oh goodness. Can you repeat the options? Because I have no
Yes,
idea.
yes, this school has Dibs as a mascot. Is it Hofstra, DePaul, UCLA, or Central Florida?
It's not UCLA.
So he thinks.
I'm trying to remember what the actual mascots, like not the names, but the actual mascot itself is for some of these schools. But if I'm taking a guess, I'd guess DePaul.
He's going to guess DePaul. Okay. Jeff, what do you think about DePaul? Or is
Yeah,
it Hofstra?
I'm not sure, but I was settling on DePaul as the most likely one of those, so that's what I'm going to guess. I do not know for sure.
The boys are going with DePaul. Case, you have other options as well. Hofstra, DePaul, UCLA, or Central Florida. What do you think?
Dibs the Blue Demon sounds incredibly strange. Pretty sure it's not the Golden Knight at UCF. Wouldn't make any sense for a giant bear out of UCLA. I'm gonna go against him, and I'm gonna say Hofstra.
He's going with A, Hofstra. Dibs. Dibs is an acronym, guys, for Devil in a Blue Suit.
Ah!
It is DePaul, the Blue
That's
Demon.
really. That sounds like it's stupid, but it's funny.
So he's
It
not
is-
Dibs the Blue Demon. He's just Dibs.
That's right.
Funny.
Devil in a Blue Suit. They call him Dibs.
I knew Dibs the Blue Demon sounded weird.
All right, we finally have one wrong answer out of the 3 of you. We go to question number 5. This blue-winged horse named Lightning is on which campus?
Blue-winged
Is it A,
horse.
Middle Tennessee, B, SMU, C, Wyoming, or D, UCLA? Where is this blue-winged horse located? His name is Lightning. Middle Tennessee, SMU, Wyoming, or Southern Cal? Jared?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm pretty sure because USC's the Trojans. I don't know who a Pegasus would be. I'm trying to think of schools we've played before and like what people call them. Maybe Middle Tennessee? Maybe?
Boy, he's got a lot of doubt in that voice. But he's going to choose Middle Tennessee. Jeff, is he right? Is he wrong?
I do not know for sure. Again, this is definitely one I am unsure of, but I was thinking it was Middle Tennessee as well. So
Okay, we've got 2 down in Middle Tennessee. Case. Middle Tennessee, SMU, Wyoming, or Southern Cal? Where is the Lightning? Where is this blue-winged
I'm
horse?
aware of the question. Doesn't help. Oh man. I'm gonna go with SMU.
He's going to go with SMU.
It's probably not right. It doesn't make any sense. None of the answers made any sense.
Middle Tennessee, also known as the Blue Raiders. The Raider rides a horse with blue wings. His name is Lightning.
The Raiders horse has wings. Oh, okay. I'm over this quiz. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna back out.
Your correct answer is A, Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders, and Lightning is the Blue Horse. Halfway through the quiz, two guys are still perfect on their answers. Case is bitterly protesting every statement from here on out. Question number 6, though, and this will be, Jared, your last time to go first. What campus is Goldie on? Where's Goldie? What campus? Is it A, UCF, B, Drake, C, Minnesota, or D, Tulsa? Where would we find Goldie, Jared?
I'm trying to think. Goldie. Oh, it's Minnesota.
Okay, he seems Minnesota, and he seems pretty sure about that. Jeff, is he right? Or is it UCF, Drake, or Tulsa?
Golden. Gophers? I was going to go with UCF with the Golden Knights.
Okay. He says UCF. Case, two different answers in front of you here. Or do you have a third one? UCF?
Jeff would be wise to remember that the Minnesota's real mascot name is the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
The Golden Gophers. Yeah, they are,
Yeah.
aren't they?
So Goldie the Gophers on UM's campus.
Goldie the Gopher is
It
correct.
is.
Yes, it is Minnesota. They have the
Yeah.
Golden Gopher, which looks like an overgrown chipmunk to me,
Yeah.
at center court, dribbling a basketball, smiling.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was a game several years ago where a very talented Minnesota Golden Gopher guard on the women's basketball team, during a blowout win over somebody, and I can't remember who, stood on Goldie the Gopher, smiled broadly, and was dribbling the basketball the same way that Goldie is on the court logo.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think the coach wasn't real excited about her rubbing it in. All right. Jeff takes his first X. Jared in full command now with a 10-point lead, as we go into question number 7. We'll switch the order this time. Jeff, you'll be going first, followed by Case and Jared.
Okay.
You'll find the Fighting Okra here.
Yeah.
We've all fought okra at one time or another.
Man.
Which campus
Okay.
is it? South Carolina State, Cal State, Alabama State, or Delta State? Where is that Fighting Okra?
The Fighting Okra. I was thinking it was a community college that I saw this. Fighting Okra. Run through them again one more time, sorry.
We've got South Carolina State, Cal State, Alabama State, or Delta State. The Fighting Okra.
I am going to say Delta State.
Sounds a little unsure of his answer, but he's
Yeah.
going with the Delta State. Case, which one of these 4? South Carolina State, Cal State, Alabama State, or Delta State?
I'm also going to go with Delta State.
Okay, we got 2 on Delta State here, Jared. There's a trend started. You going to agree with these guys, or you going elsewhere?
I have absolutely no idea, but just to be different, I'm going to go a different answer, and I'll say South Carolina State.
Going with South Carolina State. But the answer is D, Delta State. So Case and Jeff get this one correct.
All right. We got another
lot of
tie going on
okra.
here.
A lot of okra grown in that area, and so they developed the Fighting Okra.
Yeah.
All right. Boy, it's tightened up here. Everybody now has 1 X except for Case. He's got 2 wrong answers as we go into question number 8.
I'm right back in this.
You are right back in this thing. This mascot fell off his horse. Can you believe it? This mascot actually fell off the horse coming out onto the field. Is it A, the Virginia Cavalier, B, the Florida State Seminole, C, I can't read my handwriting here. Jesus. C.
Must not be the right answer.
So we know it's not C.
C. Bucky the Bronco Rider, or D. the Oklahoma State Cowboy. Which one of these mascots was leading the team out and fell off of his horse? The Virginia Cavalier, the Florida State Seminole, Bucky the Bronco Rider, or the Oklahoma State Cowboy? Jeff!
I remember when this
this
story
era?
happened, but I don't remember what school it was. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State.
Taking Oklahoma State on that case. Was it the Cavalier, the Seminole, the Bronco Rider, or the Cowboy who fell off their horse?
I too remember this story, and I feel like it was the Cavalier.
Going with the Virginia Cavalier. All right. Jared, these agree with you? One of them, or you got a third choice?
I can never pass up an opportunity to crap on Katie's school. Florida State.
And so you're thinking it's Florida State then?
Thinking I know it is.
He says Florida State. But he's wrong. It was the Virginia Cavalier.
Told you I remember that story.
Virginia playing Texas Tech. At the start of the game, he came out, the horse did a buck and a whinny, and down went the Cav.
I'm telling you, go back.
Yeah,
school.
I think Jared's right on this, and I think it happened at Florida State too.
Jeff,
look
I think you're misremembering the Oklahomas, and you're thinking of the Boomer Sooner wagon that.
No, I remember that
completely
too.
Failed.
Yeah, no, but I think it was just quick look. I think it happened at Florida State too.
No, I mean you're misremembering the.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, for mine.
Your
That's possible.
Oklahoma State guess.
Yeah.
Since Case has his computer out, look it up real quick. I'm telling you,
I'll look
Florida
it up.
State.
Yeah. December
Florida
2016.
State mascot fail.
Yeah.
It was back when I was in school. It's been several years.
Yeah.
This was at the Orange Bowl, but he
Yep.
didn't fall off his horse. The whole horse fell down.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The horse could have fallen down without him coming off, of course. That's very possible.
Yeah.
This YouTube
I'm
video
sticking with
says
my correct
Florida
answer.
State mascot falls off horse, but the whole horse just falls. So
Yeah.
that's not quite getting bucked off your horse.
Exactly. And
It's
so
a close one.
the answer A stands. The Virginia
I'll
Cavalier.
take it.
All right. Case gets this one correct. He drags himself right back into the fray of things as the boys are tied up with 8 questions gone. 2 in the bonus left. Jeff, your final time to go first. Hi, Jeff. I'm Big Al. I'm on this campus.
You hit
What
dingers.
campus am I am? Yes, Big Al is taking my place on the show. Am I on Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, or Akron's campus? I'm Big Al.
Oh
So,
no.
where am I?
Oh gosh. What was the last one?
Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, or Akron?
Akron. I don't think it's Akron. I'm gonna say Arkansas.
Jeff takes Arkansas, where Big Al is. Case, does that make sense to you, or is that one of the other 3?
Really thought Florida was going to be an option. It wasn't.
Al the alligator. Yeah.
That's his name, I'm pretty sure.
Alabama,
I
Arkansas.
think it's Alabama.
He's going to go Alabama, he says. Jared, are these guys right, or is there a third option here? Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, or Akron?
It is Big Al, Alabama.
He likes Alabama also. And that's right, that big cuddly elephant they've got running around down there is Alabama, and he is nicknamed Big Al. Obviously because of his size, I would suppose, right?
Arizona.
Alabama.
Alabama's. Yeah, Arkansas is named Tusk. So. Yeah. All right.
Oh, and that's a whole other area. All right. Jeff falls 10 points behind.
It is Albert
Case and Jeff is
Albert
number
E.
two.
Gator.
Question number two.
Yeah. Albert and Alberta are the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, not another married couple.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
Florida.
Married, they already had the same names.
I
Jeez.
ain't
Yeah.
snuggling up to Miss Gator, boys.
No.
I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Question number 10. Final question of the regular round. I've got an itch. Let's go find Scratch. Where are we going? Are we going to LSU, Penn State, Kentucky, or Clemson? I've got an itch. Let's go find Scratch. Where are we going? Jeff, I'll let you go first this time since you're trailing.
Run through those options again real quick, please.
LSU, Penn State, Kentucky, or Clemson?
I think Scratch is the secondary mascot at Kentucky.
He guesses Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, it's the baby wildcat over there at UK.
He seems pretty convinced. He's laid the sidewalk open for Case. Are you going to agree with these guys, Case?
Said Itchy and Scratchy, and Simpsons wasn't an option. So. Yeah, I knew it wasn't LSU or Clemson. I was pretty sure it was one of the other cats, smaller cats, not tigers. But yeah, Kentucky.
All the guys say Kentucky, and all the guys are right. That's right. He's the little wildcat running around at their Scratch up at the UK. So we've gone through the regular round, fellas, and anything could happen in the bonus round. We're looking at Jared with a score of 80. We're looking at Case, who's on a hot streak, a score of 80. Jeff right behind these guys, hanging in there with a 70.
Yep.
Jeff, will you take the bonus?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jared,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going for it.
Case,
Yes.
the fellas are taking the bonus. They're risking 20 points either way, gain or lose. Your question is, Sammy the Spartan is on this campus. What campus is Sammy on? Is he on San Jose State, Pepperdine, Santa Clara, or Michigan State? Which campus is Sammy the Spartan on? Jeff, we'll give you the chance to go first here. Which campus? San Jose State, Pepperdine, Santa Clara, or Michigan State?
Oh, the only one I know is the Spartans is Michigan State, so I'm going to go with that. I could be
He
wrong.
says it's Michigan State. Jared, which one of these four? San Jose State, Pepperdine, Santa Clara, or Michigan State?
No, it's not Michigan State, and I don't know if the middle two are even Spartans or not. So I'm gonna go with San Jose State.
He's taking San Jose State. Case, you got two answers in front of you. Is it one of those two, or is it Pepperdine or Santa Clara?
Yeah, San Jose State Spartans always get confusing because they're not the Aztecs of San Diego State. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not Michigan State, so I'm also going to go with San Jose State.
Try as hard as I might, I couldn't fool the guys on this one. It was San Jose State. That is correct. Sammy the Spartan out there.
You could fool Jeff.
Yeah, I got me.
Well, I got Jeff, but that's easy. So, yet again this week we have a tie, and wouldn't you know it, both of these boogers scored 100 points on me, Case and Jared. So you get to split the one-eared toothpick holding beer.
Beer? We're doing
It's a
beer now?
I want the bottom half so that I get the toothpick holder.
You get and Jared, you only get one ear. That's right.
Is the beer warm or cold?
Yeah.
Well, it's in half.
It depends on where I'm at. If I'm at a UofL football game, it's probably warm by now. But if it's in my refrigerator, it's ice cold. But I meant to say, of course, bear instead of beer. Very good quiz, gentlemen. Despite my best efforts, two of you suckers got 100 on me. So I don't know what I'm going to do for next week's quiz. You're too good. All right, boys. Let's get in roll into some final thoughts here. Jeff, you can go ahead and start us out since you were last in the quiz.
Yeah, a little bit off topic of sports, not completely, but mostly is the death of Chadwick Boseman yesterday. Died of colon cancer. Has impacted a lot of people. Obviously, he had uh, the main role of and titular role of Black Panther in the Marvel MCU, and it's a tough situation. He was 43 years old, too young. Went through dealing with colon cancer pretty much in private. Didn't let anybody know about it. Really kind of caught everybody by surprise. So, think about that. Certainly, we were talking earlier about racism and the interactions in society, and certainly representation matters. And he was that was a big role. Really opened a lot of people's eyes to, frankly, how racist Hollywood can be, and casting of movies and green lighting movies that feature overwhelmingly black cast. That movie, and I think Hidden Figures also. Those two really hit together on that. So, thinking about his family and friends and folks that looked up to him.
A fantastic actor, no doubt about that for sure.
Yeah. If you want to connect it to sports,
Jared?
he played Jackie Robinson in 42. So,
He certainly did.
Yeah.
Passed away on Jackie
Very,
Robinson Day.
that was the movie
Yeah.
I was thinking of exactly. A fantastic portrayal.
Yeah.
And that very, very good story about how Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. Jared, final thoughts?
Yeah, so Jeff mentioned the Chadwick Boseman incident there, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about this Lamar Jackson Day on ACC Network.
Yeah.
They did a little story on him earlier this morning, and now they're currently showing UofL versus Texas A&M Music City Bowl. They'll show the UofL at Syracuse game where he had the big Heisman leap, and then they'll finish it off tonight with the UofL Florida State game where he had the big run.
Lamar Jackson. God, you gotta love him. Ace, final thoughts?
Yeah, I was also going to go the Chadwick Boseman route and touch on something Jeff didn't mention, that he did handle this privately. It came out yesterday that it's been a 4-year battle with colon cancer, diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. In 2016, Chadwick Boseman was the victim of some pretty significant internet bullying for his appearance and his constant weight fluctuations, his looking tired and not always being enthused while doing press for Black Panther and for the later Marvel movies coming after that. And just a reminder to everyone that you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's happening in people's private lives. And there's probably a reason that they're not behaving the way that you expect them to. So just be kind. Just be kind.
As Curtis Franklin likes to sign his posts off with on our website.
Yeah.
Curtis, be kind.
Press junkets can be pretty exhausting to begin with, but then to be, dealing with stage 3, stage 4 colon cancer in the middle of it. Jeez, I'm amazed.
You got that right. You got that absolutely right. Final thoughts out of me. Just want to say congratulations to our good friend Paige, who used to share radio broadcasts with us at WCHQ, an avid Cardinal fan. She is now a married woman. She's off the market, guys, marrying Benjamin Hemp. So, Paige, congratulations to you. I'm sorry I could not be in attendance, but I sent you cash. I know you appreciate that. So, money always something that can be used in planning a wedding in the final stages, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right. It is also the start of Derby week, so I know, Jared, you've dusted off the euphonium, and you're going to play the call to the post for us, right?
No, it's a trumpet player only thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you were trying to play it on the smoke alarm earlier. That's right. I'm sorry. Everybody have a fun week. We'll join you, actually. We'll have to kind of decide whether we're going to be on next week or not for Derby Day. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's something we'll discuss amongst ourselves, and we'll make an announcement on the website. So until then, everybody have yourself a great Derby week, okay?
Okay. Thanks.